I have to work today early, but I just wanted to talk quickly about placeholders. If you look at the timeline of free will, as we've discussed in the free will section, there's the unconscious thought kernel, and then there's the second thought that is free will, and then if we were using, like, let's say you wanted to buy a brand new car, okay? You have the subconscious thought, maybe I want to buy this brand new car. And then you have the conscious add on to the kernel of free will. I think it'll be like a Lexus XYZ or whatever, I don't know cars, but so now you have a end goal. Okay, purchase the car, drive it off the lot, right? Well, the reason placeholders are useful is that the end result of driving the car off the lot may need you to reinforce the fact that you want the car, or that you're saving money towards the object, right? So if you got a model of the car and put it on your desk, that would be like a reminder. This is the car. This is, you're like playing with the doors. You're, if it's a die-cast model, you're like opening the hood, thinking about the engine. So it could be a way to potentially motivate you to keep going forward, to go to the next free willpower node in that long chain of events to get the car, because you're going to have to like grind through work and tell yourself this is for the car, and just keep going. Same thing for a house or whatever. But one of the other reasons that placeholders are important is because they can help evolve an idea. So like, let's say you wanted to do van life, right? And you're like, well, do I want a box truck or do I want a Sprinter? Well, you could get a model of each, or even make a model of each out of cardboard. I love cardboard. And that would give you a way to put like a Ken doll or a Barbie doll inside, and have it moving around and model what the reality would be like. So having models of our goals and making models and buying models or whatever is a very good way to further explore the physicality of a idea or construct. Just like scientists use scientific models. They're just placeholders for the thing that they are studying or conceptualizing or engineering or whatever. But one of the the other two really important things is that, on the way to the carness of your new car, you may discover two things. Okay, first is that the model is good enough. Now I'm not telling you to quit. I'm not saying, settle for a model, or, enjoy the things that you have, not the things that you want. I'm not saying that. I think everyone should get, what they want in life, as long as it's not destructive to other people. But what I'm saying is that sometimes we're like really lusting after a thing or want a thing so bad that when we get a lower, let's say, resolution of that thing, it's good enough to satisfy that initial urge we had, or the free will and willpower we poured into it trying to get the thing. So let's say we really want to go to Spain, okay? And our friend goes to Spain and they bring back like, souvenirs. They bring back like, a friend gave me this one time, a sword, a replica of El Cid, right? The sword. And then they bring you a t-shirt and a fridge magnet. And I'm not saying they're equivalent. I'm saying that may satisfy that wanderlust that you had, and then you start watching YouTube videos and then you're like, man, maybe I'm not going to go to Spain. I don't have enough money, or, sometimes we dream of places that we want to go that if we actually went, we would not be happy. Like, let's say someplace like the rainforest, I mean, you're like, man, that's so green and intense. And you get there and it's like super hot and muggy and bugs are everywhere. And you got like, jungle rot feet and stuff. And you're like, oh, this did not go as, how I imagined in my head. Or at one point I was going to go to Barrow, Alaska when I was younger. I was like, man, I need to make a lot of money really quick. So I'll go to Barrow, Alaska and I'll work at McDonald's and make, $30 an hour or whatever it was back then. And, but I would have been miserable in Alaska. And, if not, I've gotten like frostbite on all my appendages. So it would not have been what I had envisioned, right? But if I would have watched videos about Barrow and learned about cold weather, clothing and all the stuff I'd have to go through, that would be enough of a placeholder for me to say, I don't want to do that. So placeholders can, on the scale of getting to the thing, the progression, you can get to a point where you're like, this is enough. And I am satisfied enough, it has resolved enough within my mind that I can just be happy with this, right? The other thing is that it may show you that the thing that you think you want is not, you don't want it anymore at all. You could just keep moving towards the thing, and before you actually get the car, you could realize, well, maybe I want a different car, or, it's not going to hold as much stuff as I thought it would, and what about road trips with the kids, and, and then you just get another car or don't get a car at all. I mean, the placeholders are just tools to work through things in your mind. It's like having a clay of your visions that you can just keep reshaping and reforming and, refining in more and more detail and more size. You can build a model, you build a super tiny model of a car, quarter of an inch long if you had enough printing capabilities or whatever it would take, right? And then you can move up the scale of size and functionality all the way up to, you could probably build, a half-size whatever car that was completely functional and an exact replica in every sense. And so we can build scaling models. We can build, engineering models to work out kinks and stuff before we invest all the money. We can buy things that are representative of the thing that we're desiring and then terminate that line of free will and willpower nodes, to save money or make another decision. So I would encourage people to use placeholders whenever possible, if they feel the need to work through something, or if they're not educated enough about the reality of what that thing would be like the van life interiors with use a Ken or a Barbie doll. Something like that, I think goes above and beyond a 3D modeling, because you are part of the equation. You are physically moving things, doing things, exploring things. And from those physical angles, sometimes we can see things that are missed in simulations. One last point before I sign off is that placeholders can also be character tests, okay, self-tests. So what that means is, let's say that you have been training your mind to decrease the occurrences of things like judgment or criticism or negativity towards other people, let's say. And you wonder what it would be like to have a certain level of power in your life and over people. You could purposely put yourself in these situations, by getting a job as a manager, or you may potentially accidentally be thrust into them if let's say you're in a class project in college and they pick you as the leader of the the organizer, right? Well, these placeholders that are on a low level of risk or potential, harm or adverse effects in general could be like micro tests for how you would perform when you are given power. And they may illustrate to you whether you even want power in the first place, right? So you may say, well, I not only want to be a car salesman, I want to manage other car salespeople because I know the business and I think I could really, increase sales overall for the dealership, right? But then you're given the opportunity to do this, which has an overall low impact on society. And within that small sphere of the car dealership, you realize that managing people makes you angrier, or perhaps there is a situation in which you use your power in a negative way, and you see the effects on someone, and you realize, damn, I really don't want to be this person, and I'm not going to go into the finer points of that, and I think you can glean from what I'm saying the kind of situations we're talking about. But I'm just saying that when you theorize about what you would do with power and how good or bad of a person you would be in those circumstances, sometimes a smaller version of the things we want, like power or even love or companionship or any of these things, can be like micro placeholders for what the thing really is. And we can learn from the lower risk, lower impact experiences what we really want and how we would behave in those circumstances, thus saving us and other people undue suffering and wasted time and wasted money on education trying to get to a managerial position that we end up not wanting, So it's just another way to look at placeholders and a way to use them for things beyond, material gains or accomplishments, to actually test your character and figure out weak points that you may want to improve for your own well-being and for the well-being of those around you. So anyways, just a quick video about placeholders, and maybe I'll expand on this concept later on. Okay, have a great day.